ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। So as you know, we will be continuing our discussion of the Vaisheshika philosophy, the Nyaya Vaisheshika system as it is called. Last time we had discussed the basics that the founder of this philosophy is Kanada, and Vaisheshika is named Vaisheshika because it discusses Vishesha as a category. Then we saw that it recognizes only two pramanas or methods of knowledge, that is direct perception and inference. Then we also discussed the 7 categories, out of which we have finished discussing 6. So Vaisheshika says that the whole universe can be divided into these 7 categories, and that's a thorough knowledge and correct understanding of these categories is necessary for attaining liberation. So we have discussed these categories: dravya or substance, guna or quality, karma or action, samanya or generality, vishesha or particularity, and samavaya or inherence. So only one remains, and that is of a negative nature. It is called abhava, abhava or non-existence. So last time many of you were telling that we are having very heavy stuff. So just let me tell you that in comparison to what we will have today, last week's discussion will seem like a walk in the park. So please be prepared, because today we are discussing with something which does not even exist. We are discussing non-existence, mind you. So these things, these categories which we have enumerated, substance, quality, action, generality, particularity, and inherence, these are called padarthas. Even non-existence is included in padarthas. Now, what is a padartha? We have to first understand technically what is the definition of padartha. It is defined as that which simultaneously has astitva or existence, gyeyatva or knowability, and abhidheyatva or nameability. So, if something has these three, existence, knowability, and nameability, it is called a padartha or a substance. So, first, it should be existent, number one. Second, it should be knowable. And third, it should be nameable. These are the three conditions which must be satisfied for something to be called a padartha. So specific examples of padartha we have seen last time: substance, quality, action, generality, universality, and inherence. Now these are called bhav padartha. Bhava means positive. Bhava padartha is that which has a positive existence. So these which we discussed last time, substance, quality, etc., these are positive entities or bhava padarthas. And as I've told you in Sanskrit often, when we add a before a word, the meaning becomes opposite. So when we add an a before bhava, it becomes abhava. And bhava means positive, abhava means negative. So the substance, quality, action, etc., these are positive entities and they are called referents of positive expression. In contrast, abhava is explained as a referent of negative expression. Mind you, this we have to understand that although abhava is included in the categories, it is a referent of a negative expression. Okay, abhava or non-existence or absence. So, according to the Nyaya Vaisheshika philosophy, an absence is also existent, knowable, and nameable. Mind you. And non-existence also is existent. This seems like a contradiction, but when we discuss it, it will become clear. Non-existence also has an existence. So, non-existence is existent, it is knowable, and also nameable. That is why it is also called a padartha. Thus, the Nyaya Vaisheshikas accept abhava, which is non-existence or negation, as a separate category. But this category is a negative one as opposed to the other 6 categories which we discussed last time, which are positive ones. This is the difference. You see, the Nyaya Vaisheshika stresses that the knowledge of abhava is essentially the same as the knowledge of positive existence. But there is a difference. What is the difference? In the case of abhava, we are examining something which does not exist at all. So here the sense organs come in contact not with the object but the place characterized by its absence. Mind you, when suppose we are discussing that there is a rug on the floor and we are discussing the non-existence of a jar on the rug. Okay, we want to convey that there is no jar or ghata on the rug. Now we are discussing the non-existence of a jar. So naturally there is no jar for us to see. Then what do we see? We see only the rug which is bereft of the jar. Okay, so the knowledge of the non-existence of the jar on the rug, this knowledge does not lead us to see the jar because there is no jar. What do we see then? We see only the place characterized by the absence of the jar. What is that place? The rug. So when we see a rug without a jar, we have the knowledge that this rug does not contain a jar. This is the thing. So here the sense organs come in contact not with the object, because there is no object, but the place characterized by its absence. So according to the Nyaya Vaisheshika, see, if there is a rug and there is no jar on it, we can say the rug is characterized by the absence of the jar. Please try to follow. Suppose on a table there is a computer. We take away the computer. There is an absence of the computer on the table now. Okay? So the Nyaya Vaisheshika says, now the table is characterized by the absence of the computer there. So this is also a property of the table now, as much as the color, size, and other qualities of the table are. They are true. It is a white table. Okay, it is a big table. These are qualities of the table. Now, when there is no computer on the table is characterized as much by the absence of the computer as it is characterized by its other qualities like the color, size, etc. This we have to understand. Otherwise, if we cannot understand this, then we will not be able to appreciate the Nyaya Vaisheshika's position. So the non-existence of the computer on the table or the non-existence of the jar on the rug. So the Nyaya Vaisheshika says that the rug has some color and some size, etc. So these are qualities of the rug. But if we are examining the non-existence of a jar on the rug, this non-existence of the jar is as much a quality of the rug as are its color, size, etc. Okay, so this please try to understand. Only in the light of this we can understand how Nyaya Vaisheshika treats non-existence. So abhava or non-existence is very much real. This is the thing. So this theory of the reality of non-existence is related to the Nyaya Vaisheshika theory of causation, according to which the effect is not existent in the cause before its production. Let me explain. Out of earth, a pot is made. Okay. What does Nyaya Vaisheshika says? That this pot, which is made of earth, was not existent in the earth before the pot was made. The cause is the earth. The effect is the jar. So Nyaya Vaisheshika says that the effect, which is the pot, was not existent in the earth before the pot was made. While the Advaita Vedanta view is exactly the opposite. Advaita Vedanta says that the effect is already present in the cause beforehand. If earth is used to make a jar, Advaita Vedanta says that the jar was already there in the earth. Otherwise, you could never have made the jar with the earth. So these two fundamental differences we have to understand. So according to the Nyaya Vaisheshika system, upon which their theory of non-existence is based, so according to them, the effect is not present in the cause. The jar was not present in the earth before the jar was made. Please keep this in mind. This is a very important feature. So, a jar is non-existent in the earth before its production and after its destruction. Mind you, when the jar is destroyed, then also the effect will not be present in the cause. Now see, according to Nyaya Vaisheshika, abhava or non-existence is a real category, as we have said, because they maintain that non-existence is also capable of producing knowledge. Now see, if there is a rug or a table, there is a table on which there is no computer. So when we say that there is no computer on the table, this non-existence of the computer on the table is also knowledge. I am knowing that there is no computer on the table. So when we see a computer on the table, the knowledge is of the form, there is a computer on the table. But when there is no computer, we say that there is no computer on the table. So both these are valid knowledge. The absence of the computer on the table is as valid knowledge as the presence of the computer on the table. This is the thing. So, according to the Nyaya Vaisheshika, non-existence is not devoid of all capabilities. It is the object of knowledge in the form of it is not. It is knowledge we are all familiar with. We see, oh, here is a computer on the table. It is. But when the computer is not on the table, this is also knowledge because we know that the computer is not there. But this knowledge is of the form it is not. This is the difference. Okay. So the Nyaya Vaisheshikas hold that abhava is not without any essence. In the case of negation, there is an object whose non-existence is experienced. I am experiencing the non-existence of the computer on the table. So here there are two things. There is a locus and the object whose non-existence of which we are aware on that locus. So two things are there. One is the locus. The locus here is the table. This is the place. And the object whose non-existence we are experiencing. When we say the computer is not on the table, so first is the object whose non-existence of which we are experiencing, the computer. And what is the locus? The locus is the table. So this statement that the computer is not present on the table is also a form of knowledge, in which we gain the knowledge that the computer is non-existent, where, if it is asked, the question is on the table. So this in Sanskrit are called Pratiyogi and Anuyogi. Just hear these when we discuss it many times, then it will be clear. So the Pratiyogi is the object which is non-existence. In this case, it is the computer. And the Anuyogi is the locus on which the object is not there, which is the table. So Pratiyogi and Anuyogi. Pratiyogi is the object and Anuyogi is the locus. This is the thing. So this is the introduction for non-existence. These principles we have to understand carefully. Now we come to the types of non-existence. As I told you before, that there are many types of non-existence. Because you see, according to Nyaya Vaisheshika, the reality of non-existence cannot be denied. They say that they give you example that at night, suppose you are looking at the sky. So you see stars and the moon. You are aware of the existence of the stars and the moon. This is knowledge. But Nyaya Vaisheshika says you are also aware that the sun is non-existent at night in the sky. Are you not aware of that? We are aware. Because if somebody asks us, did you see the sun at night? We will say, are you mad? We are aware of the non-existence of the sun. So this awareness of non-existence is also knowledge. This is the thing, you see. This you have to grasp. Now we come to the types of non-existence, which will be enough to give you a big headache. So now I will share an image which will make things a little clear. See, you can see the image here. Here I have enumerated the types of non-existence. There are two broad types you can see. One is the Sansarga Abhava, that is called Sansarga Bhava. And second is Anyonya Bhava. So we will discuss both of these one by one. Now, for those who know any Indian language, they will find it easy to understand these terms. This first word, Sansarga Bhava, is made up of two words. Sansarga plus Abhava. Abhava, you know, non-existence. Sansarga in Sanskrit means contact. Okay. So, Sansarga Bhava is, as it is written below, it is absence of something in something else. Okay. Sansarga Bhava is absence of something in something else. When we give examples, it will become clearer. And the second, Anyonya Bhava, this means simply that one object is not another object. One thing is not another thing. For example, a table is not a chair. This is an example of Anyonya Bhava. So let us discuss them one by one. So as I have told you, Sansarga Bhava means the absence of something in something else. And Sansarga Bhava, as you can see on the chart, is of three kinds. First is Praga Bhava, second is Dhvansa Bhava, and third is Atyanta Bhava. So again, for those who know any Indian languages, this will be easier to understand. See, Praga Bhava, this word is made up of two words. Prak, prak means before, and Abhava means non-existence. So, Prak Abhava means the Abhava which is before the cause turns into the effect. We will discuss it later. And Dhvansa Bhava is made up of two words. Dhvansa, which is destruction, and Abhava, which is non-existence. So Dhvansa Bhava is the non-existence which comes into effect after something is destroyed. And the third is Atyanta Bhava. Atyanta Bhava means total non-existence. This is the thing. So nothing to worry. When we give examples, it will become very clear. So first we have to understand the difference between Sansarga Bhava and Anyonya Bhava. Sansarga Bhava can be expressed by a judgment of the form A is not in B. A is not in B. This is Sansarga Bhava. And Anyonya Bhava is the form A is not B. So please try to remember this. The first one is that A is not in B. And the second is A is not B. This is the thing. Please try to remember. I know it is difficult. So now we will examine these three types of Sansarga Bhava one by one. Then by the examples it will become absolutely crystal clear, or at least I hope that it will become crystal clear. So first let us examine Prag Abhava. Prag, as I have told you, Prag means before and Abhava is non-existence. So by the very term we can understand that Prag Abhava is the non-existence of a thing before its production. Okay. Now, an example will make it clear. A house is built of bricks, that we all know. Okay. So we are going past a construction site. There are a lot of bricks there, but the house has not been built yet. Okay. So what can we say? We can say that till the house is built, there is non-existence of the house in the bricks. Can't we say that? Of course we can. So this non-existence of the house in the bricks before its construction is called Prag Abhava. Abhava, which is before. Before what? Before the cause has been transformed into the effect. The cause is the bricks, the effect is the house. So before the bricks have taken the form of the house, there is non-existence of the house in the bricks. Okay. So this means the absence of connection between the bricks and the house which has not yet been built with them. So as I told you, Sansarga Bhava is A is not in B. So before the house is built, the house is not in the bricks. Okay. So this is an example of Pragabhava. The non-existence which is present before the cause is turned into the effect. So this non-existence of the house in the bricks, is it big? Does it have a beginning, or doesn't have a beginning at all? Just try to understand this. This non-existence of the house in the bricks, does it have a beginning or not? If we just examine, it has no beginning, this non-existence, because till the house is built, the house was never in the bricks. So this non-existence of the house in the bricks has no beginning. It is called anadi. But when the house is built, this non-existence of the house in the bricks comes to an end, because now the house is in the bricks. So that is why Pragabhava is said to be without a beginning but having an end. Okay, so I just want to again clarify this because it is a difficult thing. Try to imagine the non-existence of the house in the bricks. Does it have a beginning? No, it has no beginning, because the house never existed in those bricks at all. So this abhava of the house in the bricks is without beginning. But when the bricks are turned into a house, this non-existence comes to an end, because now the house is in the bricks. So Pragabhava is without beginning, but it has an end. Okay. Now we come to the next one, Dhvansa Bhava. Dhvansa Bhava, as I've told you, is non-existence of a thing after it is destroyed. After it is destroyed, that thing does not exist anymore. So that non-existence which is produced when a thing is destroyed is called Dhvansa Bhava. I'll give you a simple example. A jar has been produced by a potter. Suppose this is a jar. So we break this jar into pieces. Okay. After the jar is broken, there is non-existence of the jar in those pieces. For example, the last time what we had considered, the bricks and the house. Suppose after the house is built, it is destroyed. Then what happens? Again, there is non-existence of the house in the bricks after destruction. This is called Dhvansa Bhava. So Dhvansa Bhava has a beginning, because only after the substance is destroyed does Dhvansa Bhava come into effect. Before that, it had no existence. The non-existence of the house did not have any existence before the house was destroyed. So, Dvansa Bhava has a beginning, but it has no end. Why it has no end? Because the same house, exactly same house, can never be constructed with those bricks. This is the thing. So the non-existence of the jar begins with its destruction, but it cannot be ended in any way, for the very same jar or the very same house cannot be brought back into existence. If we use the pieces of the jar to make the jar again, it will not be the same jar. It can never be the same jar. Okay. So this is what is called Dvansa Bhava. And we come to the last one now of the Sansarga Bhava, that is Atyanta Bhava. Atyanta Bhava is very simple. It is absolute non-existence. It is the absolute absence of connection between two things for all time to come, past, present, and future. Simple example will make it clear. When we say the non-existence of color in air, okay, when we say non-existence of color in air, so air can never have color in the past, present, or future. So this absolute non-existence is absolute absence of connection between the air and color is called Atyanta Bhava. So Praga Bhava is the non-existence of a thing before its production. Dvansa Bhava is the non-existence of a thing after its destruction. And Atyanta Bhava is the non-existence of a thing not in any particular time, but for all time to come. So, this non-existence is beginningless and endless. The non-existence of color in the sky is beginningless because color never existed in the sky. And it is endless because color will never exist in the sky. Color neither did it exist in the sky in any time in the past, nor will it exist in the sky in any time in the future. So this non-existence of color in the sky is both beginningless and endless. Okay? So Sansarga Bhava we have discussed. Sansarga Bhava is the absence of a connection between two things. Now we will discuss Anyonya Bhava, that is very simple. Anyonya Bhava underlies the difference of one thing from another thing. Okay. When one thing is different from another thing, they mutually exclude each other and there is non-existence of either as the other. When we say a table is not a chair, okay, so this means that there is always the non-existence of a table in the chair and of the chair in the table. This means that a table does not exist as a chair, or more simply, a table is not a chair. Simple as that. So, Anyonya Bhava is this non existence of one thing as another from which it is different. So, Sansarga Bhava is the absence of connection between two entities, and Anyonya Bhava is the absence of one thing as another. This is the thing. So, like Atyanta Bhava or absolute non-existence, Anyonya Bhava is also without a beginning and without an end, because a table will never be a chair and a chair will never be a table. This is the thing. So, these are the types of abhava. I'm sure you are thoroughly confused by now. Yeah. So, Sansarga Bhava and Anyonya Bhava, these are the two main categories. Sansarga Bhava means A is not in B. When before the house is built, the house is not there in the bricks. So there is an absence or non-existence of the house in the bricks. This is Praga Bhava. Dvansa Bhava is what? When a jar is destroyed, then its parts, in those parts, there is non-existence of the jar. So this non-existence came after the jar was destroyed. So this is called Dvansa Bhava. And the third is Atyanta Bhava. When we say there is no color in the air, so air never had color. There is total absence of color in air. That is called absolute non-existence or Atyanta Bhava. And the other type of non-existence is Anyonya Bhava, means A is not B. Means the chair is not a table and a table is not a chair. So a chair can never exist as a table and a table can never exist as a chair. This is called Anyonya Bhava. So this Abhava is a valid source of knowledge. Otherwise, how can we make out the difference between a chair and a table? Whenever we say a chair is not a table, we know that there is a Anyonya Bhava. A chair cannot be a table, a table cannot be a chair. So this is a knowledge of non-existence and it is valid knowledge. When we see bricks lying around but there is no house, this non-existence of the house is also knowledge, as much as the existence of the house when it is built. So when we see the house, is positive knowledge, the house exists. But when the house is not there, that is also knowledge. Only it is of a negative nature, that there is no house here. This is the position of the Nyaya Vaisheshika philosophy. So it is interesting, but naturally we have to exert our mind in a slightly different way to which we are not used to, but once we get used to that, it will become simple and it is also a great joy, because See how many of us have thought about non-existence at all? How many of us have even imagined that non-existence can also be of various types? How many of us have even thought that actually non-existence also gives us knowledge? Hmm. But our philosophers, ancient rishis and sages, they had such subtle minds, they went into the heart of things. They examined everything. Only with such an intellect, such a brilliant mind, they could reach the eternal reality Brahman. Hmm. By negating everything, Advaita Vedanta says that the way of Advaita Vedanta is what? Neti, neti, na iti means not this, not this, not this. The supreme form of discrimination. How can you do without a sharp intellect? You cannot do that. So, this thankfully concludes our discussion on abhava. Hmm. So, after this, after this discussion, the next class will be absolutely simple in comparison. So, nothing to bother. We will just discuss next time the Nyaya theory of atoms because as like modern science, Nyaya also believes that everything is made up of atoms, but there is a fundamental difference between these two, the Nyaya theory of atomism and the modern theory, so that we can keep for later. So I think you have had enough for today and maybe for 1 month also. So let us end here today our discussion. Then to make up for your headache, we can have a little song. So Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.